Well, it's supposed to preach when it's easy and when it's not. It hasn't been easy lately. All right, 3 and verse 6. Vatere. Vatere. Ha-isha. See that, Mike? Ha-isha. That's the woman. All right, ha-isha. He told. All right, and then ha-etz.
Is that the second row?
Now we're on the second line. Ha-etz. All right, li na a ko. Li ma a ko. See that long word there starts out with lamet. Lamet. You see the mem in there and the alif, ka, and lamet on the end of it. And with all the vowels in between, it's le, ma, a, ko. And then viki, ta, ava. See that tau in the front? And then you have that va in there, a vowel in the middle of it, and then a hey on the end of it there. Ta, ava, and then who. Li, la, e, naim. La, e, naim. And then be, nek, mud.
Which word is that? The tree?
That's the bottom one, all right, the bottom one. Well, we just talked about the eyes, li'ah, na'im, all right? That's the eyes, and now we're going to, this looks lustable, all right, desirable. Be nakmad. Say that, be nakmad. All right, ha'etz, the tree. Ha'etz is the tree. And then we have the word li hashkil. Li hashkil. All right? And then over here on the next page now, that little old short word is vat tik kak. Vat tik kak. All right? And then we have mit he yod. Mit piv or pir yod. Mit pir yod. And then vat tako. Vat T10. This is the easy one now. Gom. Gom. That's also. All right? And then Li-isha. There's your woman again. Li-isha. Li, that lamet in the front there. This means 2 or 4. Whenever you see this on the front of a word, that means 2 or 4. All right? That's lamet. And then whenever you see this one on there, that means with or from or something. Okay? And then you'll have a bet on the front of it also. That's a bait. I'm putting a foot or a heel on that thing right there. That's a bait. All right. And sometimes it's translated like this. And then when it's got a dot in the middle of it, it's a B. Okay. Olive, B. All right. Give you a little bit of that as we go. Okay. All right. Now let's go back and translate this. Vateri and Saul. Now, in that word is Jireh. See that resh in there? See that R? That resh? This looking thing? That comes from Jireh. All right, that's a resh. Okay, that's resh. All right, that's where we get our word Jireh. Jehovah. Jireh. Where is that in the Bible? What chapter and verse? What chapter is that in the Bible? In the book of Genesis. Jehovah Jireh. Remember where Abraham went up on Mount Moriah? And that he said that he saw Jehovah. That means the Lord shall provide or the Lord is seen. This is Jehovah. All right, Jireh means to see. All right, the Lord was seen. And then Jesus, when he was talking to the Pharisees, now there's a lot in this, okay? When Jesus was talking to the Pharisees, and they were already mad at him because he said, "You're saying you're God." He said, "Yeah, that's right." And he said, Abraham was glad to see my day. And they said to him, "You mean to tell me you're not over 50 years old and you have seen Abraham?" And he said, "Yes, Abraham was joyous to see me." He was quoting Genesis 22, where he saw Jehovah on the mountain. He saw the Lord. He saw Jesus in his pre-incarnate body there on Mount Moriah, where Jerusalem sits, okay, right where the temple sits. That's where he saw him. You go over there to the rock of Moriah or the Mosque of Omar, right in there, that's where Jesus was in his pre-incarnate self before he became flesh. Right there, Jehovah Jireh. The Lord is seen. Not only is the Lord is seen, but have you ever heard, back in Oklahoma they used to say this a lot, and I know that because my people said this, they said, "We'll see to it later." What's that mean? Huh? We'll see to that later, or he'll see to it. It means he'll provide. He'll take care of it. So Jehovah Jireh says he'll see to it. He was seen and he'll see to it. And that's where they said the Lord shall provide. Okay? And saw Vatireh ha-isha. See that ha in the front of that? This word right here, that means the in Hebrew. Okay? If it was in Greek, it would be that. Hey. That's a the in Greek, a feminine the in Greek. There is a masculine the, a neuter the, and a feminine the in Greek. All right? It's a lot harder, a lot more there than it is in Hebrew. Hebrew just says ha. All right? That's the. Okay? Anytime you say ha, see ha in the front of it, or in the front of a word, also you'll see this. Or that. And that's and. We have to write it out and in Greek, it is chi. All right? But in Hebrew, it's like shorthand. Okay? Now, I don't mean to totally founder you, but I'm just showing some things so you can understand the differences, okay? And Vatere, see right on the front of that word and saw? That's and. That's that word right there. Vatere. And saw. All right? Ha-isha, the woman. What does woman mean?
Out of man.
Out of man. How do you say man now?
Ish.
Ish. Ish is man, and isha is woman, which means out of man. Even in English. All right? Woman. If you go to the English dictionary and you look up etymology, and it'll say out of man. I write that very well. I write Greek and Hebrew better than I do English. Ha-isha, key. All right? And the word key there, it means true. It means absolute. It means that. All right? That, or true, or because. That word key there. And this word key is the one you're looking at right here. It looks like this. Okay? That's key. All right? That's key. And then the word here is very important, told. Say that one, told. Key told. That good, or because good. All right? And saw the woman that good. Okay? That good, ha-es. Now look at the front of that word, ha-es. What part is the on that? Huh? Ha is the. Ha-isha, ha-adam, and ha-es. All right? The tree. Which tree? Which tree? The one that has the knowledge of good and evil in it. The prohibited tree. Now, evidently, they just had been walking by and not looking at that tree. The best thing to do if you've got a what you call a temptation is don't go near it. You know, if a woman is a little bit overweight, maybe she's really skinny, but maybe she's a little bit overweight, or maybe she has arrhythmia or something, and you know you're not supposed to eat chocolate. The idea is don't have 20 pounds of chocolate in the refrigerator or up at the shelf. Okay? Because then that is a real temptation, isn't it? All right. Temptation. So evidently they had not been looking at this tree. But now, the old snake, what's his name? Nahash. Nahash, and what is his name?
Lucifer.
Well, he's Lucifer inhabiting the snake. Okay. Nahash. Nahash means the deceiving serpent. That's what it means. And it says he became Arum. He became. God did not create him. Arum. What does Arum mean? Remember what that Arum means? Arum. And then we see Arumim later on. We're going to see that word. Arum means naked, subtle, dishonest, crafty. The snake became naked, dishonest, crafty, subtle, deceptive. All right, that's what the word Arum means, okay? Ha'etz, the tree. All right, now look at this now. Li ma'akol. All right, li ma'akol. In that word is Bethlehem. The part Beth, the house of bread. In there, see that lament in there? That part of the word means bread or food. All right, and then it says for food. Le ma'akol. All right, for food. For to be food. All right? She saw the tree was good for to be food. I don't know whether it had seized candy on that tree or what was on that tree. Maybe it was candy apples or something. I don't know. Vici. Vici. All right? Vici, look at the front of that word. Okay? And because the key. Be is what? Is and. The Greek equivalent is kai. All right? And key, and that word key means upright, so-called. True. Yeah, the tree was truly pretty. All right? And that ta'abah. Ta'abah. All right, the word ta'abah. It means to desire. Ta'abah. All right, ta'abah means to desire. It means to delight in. It means to worship intensely. What it meant here is the tree was very seductive and beautiful. All right. Looking from a woman's standpoint, it was a very handsome tree. From a man's standpoint, the tree, she was very beautiful. All right? Whatever it is, this is the object of lust and desire and delight. It means to worship toward. That's all in this word. Okay? This doesn't come out in English, does it? All of that in this word right here. And how do you say that word? Ta'abah. Ta'abah, and the next word is who. We've seen that word before, who. Can you say that, who? All right. It's like WHO, who. Who? La-e-nahim. La-e-nahim, all right? For the eyes, or for eyes, okay? It's very beautiful in him. All right, this gives it a masculine. It's a masculine tree now. Most trees are feminine, but this one is masculine. Right? This is a masculine tree. He's an object of desire in him for the eyes, or for eyes. And then it says, va nikmad. Say that. Va nikmad. Va nikmad. And desirable, lustable. All right, Nithel, masculine, singular participle. It's lustable-ing and desirable-ing. All right, see the wit on the front of it? That means it's and. And is lustable and desirable. Ha-etz. Ha is the tree. All right, ha-etz. Then here we have a word, li-hashkil. Li-hashkil. And that word means to make wise, to prosper, to get rich. Okay, that's what this word means. It means to make wise, it means to prosper, and it means to be able to get rich, to attain, and to grab a hold of something. All right? Hithel infinitive construct. Shikal is the root of it. Page 968 if you want to look that one up. That means this tree would give them the ability to become rich. Vat tik kak. Vat tik kak. That little word there, that's all of that. Vat tik kak. Can you say that word? Vat tik kak. And she took and kept on taking. Third person feminine singular, Cal, while consecutive imperfect. That's a lot to say about this verb here. She kept on taking. She just kept on picking the fruit off of that tree. Eating the leaves and eating the fruit and just kept on. Once she started, it didn't stop. Okay? She kept on taking from his fruit. Me per yod. She kept on taking from his fruit. All right? She kept on eating the fruit of that tree. All right? And then it says, Vat takal. Say that one. Vat takal. And she kept on eating. She kept on taking and she kept on eating. Third person singular, cow, while consecutive and perfect. All right? Again. She kept on taking and she kept on gorging herself. In this verse here, we see robbery. Robbery. Whose tree was this? God's. God said, that's my tree, don't touch it. So when they touched the tree, they robbed God. Okay? What else? This is where gluttony begins. What is a glutton? The glutton is the one that just keeps on eating to the detriment of his body, or her body. All right? This is gluttony. All right? And greed. Greed. This tree is going to make them rich. All right? Greed. And this tree is going to make them smart. And it's going to make them wise. And it's going to make them proud. All right? What do we have in proud? Pride, is that one of the falls? Sure it is. All right. To make them wise, to be proud. The no the sonte is the word. Nildo sente himon hoi ophthalmoi. That's what it says in Greek. They shall become very wise, very smart, and be able to latch on and take other people's stuff now. They stole from God, now they're going to steal from each other. Vatikah, and she took from his fruit, and she kept on eating, and then vatitin, and she kept on giving. She kept on giving. Now she's taken this, and she kept on giving. She kept on giving to whom here? Gom. What's gom? Kind of like gum, but it's gom. All right. She kept on giving also. She kept on third person feminine singular while consecutive, while consecutive imperfect. All right. She kept on giving to her man. She kept on giving it to her man. La Isha. La Isha. Imah. With her. Imah is with her. Vayakol. And he kept on eating. So now, she keeps on eating. She gorges herself. And now she gets her husband involved and she keeps on filling him full. They didn't eat just a little bit, people. They just gorged themselves. Once they had passed the bar, the point of no return, they had crossed over the line, they just went after it. All right. There are some verses, Deuteronomy 21 and 20, and Proverbs 23, 21, Matthew 11, 19, Luke 7, 34. Let's look at some of these verses because it's very important to go with this. All right? Who's got Deuteronomy 21 and verse 20? Deuteronomy 21 verse 20. You can read that out of that Bible there if you want to, right? Okay. Well, they got an English translation. Deuteronomos. Deuteronomos means Deuteronomy, and that's what it is in Septuagint, okay? Deuteronomy 21:20. Have you got it there, Serena?
Yes.
All right.
They shall say to the elders of his city, this son of ours is stubborn and rebellious. He will not obey us. He is a glutton and a drunkard.
All right. Now, see, now this passed on down, didn't he? He is a glutton and a drunkard. This tree made them drunk with power. This tree made them drunk with power. That's the term right there. In this tree, they would become drunk with power. They become drunk with pride and satiated with food, okay? Now, Proverbs 23, verse 21. Proverbs 23 and verse 21. Rex, are you over there anywhere? Proverbs 23, 21. Proverbs, no. Connie, are you over there anywhere? Proverbs 23 and 21. Have you got that, David? Boy, you're fast.
For the drunkard and the glutton will come to poverty, and drowsiness will clothe a man with rags.
All right. Say that one more time.
For the drunkard and the glutton will come to poverty, and drowsiness will clothe a man with rags.
Okay, now the drunkard and the glutton. All right, this is the word. They were drunkards and gluttons here. This tree must have made them drunk. Drunk with power and drunk with pride. Okay? You know what? There's a, Brother Randall, you used to have an attitude. You named an attitude where a person is not quite all there. You call that attitude where he was very prideful, a person is very prideful, and you call that a what attitude? A 3.0 or something, what you call it?
3.2 wisdom.
3.2 wisdom. You know what that is, don't you? I don't.
Drunk.
It's drunk. The alcohol content, 3.2. Evidently, this tree had alcohol in it. It had something in it that poofed them up, to make them, you know, a drunk man, he can do anything. That's why they get in fights so much. They think they can whoop the world. Sam Paul, my great-great-grandfather, he got more in trouble when he was out drinking and shooting up the countryside. My great-grandmother told me that her brothers and her father and her family had suffered more from alcohol and alcoholism. He said, it cost our family so much, and my children. She had two sons that were total, absolute drunks for years and years. With Bill and Bob, they were drunks, that's all. Thomas, actually. Willie was named after her brother Willie, and Thomas, they called him Bob, but Thomas was named after Tom Waite. Different families. Drunks. Drunks. All of the sins of humanity rest right in this verse right here. You could take and preach the whole Bible from this verse and all the sins of mankind. Matthew 11:19. Katamation. Matthew 11:19. Matthew 11:19. You over there, Marilyn? You got the Bible out? You don't. Huh? Matthew 11:19. That's in the New Testament, by the way. Katamation. Are you there, Serena? Okay. Luke 7:34 after this now.
The Son of Man came eating and drinking, and they say, behold, a gluttonous man and a drunkard, a friend of tax collectors and sinners. Yet wisdom is vindicated by her deeds.
All right, now this is kind of a weird thing. The Son of Man, now who's this talking about? In the book of Daniel, when they looked in the fiery furnace, they looked in there, and they saw somebody down in that fiery furnace. They said, how many people we throw in there? We threw 3. How many are in there? There's one like the Son of Man. The word Son of Man means Son of God. That's what it means. Son of God. That's Jehovah Jireh. Okay, that's who it is. Brother Rex.
All the Bible there ever read said Son of God.
What?
See, all the Bibles I ever read said the Son of God.
Yeah, Son of God and Son of Man. Son of Man.
About Son of Man.
Huh?
It didn't say nothing about the Son of Man. It said Son of God.
Okay, but Son of God, the Son of God in there, the term is Son of Man. But the term means Son of God also. It means it's a physical display of God. In other words, God, this is what we call epiphany. This is a display or an epiphany where God displays himself in flesh. Before he became flesh, John 1:14, in the Old Testament, who walked with Adam in the garden? Jehovah did. This is the one it was. This is Jesus in the garden. All right. And then who did they see in the fiery furnace? They saw Jehovah, the Son of Man or the Son of God. Now the book of Enoch calls Jesus the son of what?
Son of woman.
Son of woman. Rightly so, because Genesis 3:15, which we're going to get to in just a little while, 3:15, it says the seed of the woman would conquer and overcome. Not the seed of man, but the seed of the woman. Okay? Because Jesus would not have an earthly father. God would reproduce himself in flesh. So he would be related to the creation. In John 3:16 it says what? This is what so many people miss. God so loved what? The world, the whole cosmos, the whole order, all of it, that he's going to redeem it back. But how would he have to redeem it back? By redeeming it himself. He has to do it. He can't send somebody to do it. God had to do it. And God suffered what? It says from the foundation of the world that he suffered the pangs of the cross. God loved you so much that he came and exhibited himself in human flesh and paid the debt of us sinners. All right. Read that again now. Who read that verse? Was that Serena?
Yes.
Okay. Read that verse again. And now pay closely attention to what it says here now.
The Son of Man came eating and drinking, and they
Hold on right there. The Son of Man, we're talking about the Son of Woman, the Son of God. All of those are interlaced words. They mean the same thing, okay? These are synonymous, okay? He came eating and drinking. Now, Jesus was not a Nazarite, was he? What was a Nazarite? All right. The Nazarite, what? It was a vow. A Nazarite was a voluntary priest. That's what it was. He's a voluntary priest. Now, being a voluntary priest, when they went in to serve in the temple area, the priest couldn't drink wine or anything like that, or eat fruit of the vine at all. The Nazarites couldn't drink wine or eat fruit of the vine when they were serving in there. Okay? Jesus was not a Nazarite. Jesus was a high priest. One high priest, the last high priest. But he came eating with sinners and drinking with sinners. He did. He came eating and drinking with sinners, us, to redeem us. He became like us to redeem us. Isn't that beautiful? That's God stepping down and condescending. That's the term, condescension. God condescending to us on our level to redeem us. Let's read that again. Read it all over again, okay?
The Son of Man came eating and drinking, and they say, Behold, a gluttonous man and a drunkard, a friend of tax collectors and sinners. Yet
He was a collector. Who was the tax collector? Levi, and who was the other one? Huh? Zacchaeus. All right, remember him, the little short feller? Yeah. And then who was those the sinners that he's talking about? The prostitutes. Well, they were prostitutes that got saved, didn't they?
Lady at the well.
The lady at the well. She was basically what we call a wayward woman. All right? But she got saved that day. And her testimony was so great, the whole town filled out. After they heard her, this woman believes in God now, man alive. Let's go hear something. Who touched this woman's life? And Mary, there were several Marys in the Bible. Okay? There was a Mary there that was washing Jesus' feet with her tears and wiping his feet with her hair. And she was doing this in the Pharisees' house. And they said, "No, let's look at this." He's letting that wretched prostitute touch him. If he was any good, he wouldn't let her touch him. You know, they were saying this. And besides that, not only that, but according to rabbinical law, and I don't mean God's law, according to rabbinical law, you know what? You couldn't talk to your wife out on the street when you go shopping. You couldn't talk to her. Did you know that? Rex, did you know that?
No, I didn't know.
You went if you were a rabbi, when you went shopping out in the mall, you couldn't talk to your wife because that was considered illicit behavior, talking to a woman in public. That's what they said.
They're pretty strict.
Now, John, in the Gospel of John now, Jesus talks to this wayward woman at the well, this loose woman at the well. And they said, see there? First of all, his disciples were so taken back when they came home and he was talking to them, came back and he was talking to this woman, and she's a bad woman. He wasn't, of course, according to rabbinical law, he wasn't supposed to speak to this woman in public, because that was a lewd behavior. So they could have stoned him for that, but I want you to, according to their law, they had a whole lot more laws than God did. False religion will always bind you up just a little bit more and put a little more chains on you than God does. You know that? They'll invent laws and invent things for you to do. That's right.
Like Congress.
What?
Just like Congress.
Luke 7:34. Luke 7:34. Who's got Luke? Connor Luke on. Brother Rex. Are you over there, Luke?
Yeah. She just read that.
Was that 7 or is it Matthew 11:9? Was it 7?
No, it's much. Oh, yeah. Some man's come drinking, eating and drinking.
Uh-huh.
And you say, behold, a gluttonous man and a drunkard, a friend of tax collectors and sinners.
Uh-huh. That's the same thing. This is the Matthew, Mark, and Luke are what?
Oh, okay.
Remember what we talked about this morning? Synoptics. They see things together. Now we had it in Matthew's words, now we have it in Luke's words. They saw the same thing. They saw it together. All right, John is over to the side now. He's putting down things. Why did John, how did he look at Jesus? Totally different than the other three. He had a point to make. He is God in flesh. That's the point. Every one of his writings, the Gospel of John, 1st, 2nd, 3rd John, and the book of Revelation all say the same thing. All right? He had a point to make. He wasn't going to write a gospel. He told his disciple Polycarp that I wasn't going to write a gospel. But when I saw all of this false teaching coming in, what was that false teaching called? Remember what the false teaching was called? The Gnostics. The Gnostics. When they saw the Gnosticism getting into the churches, he wrote those books to combat Gnosticism. They were doing away with the deity of Jesus Christ, and he said, I'm going to put it down plain and straight. Now, Islam. You heard of Islam? We've had a lot of trouble with Islam, haven't we? Lately? All right. Islam. Now, they believe the Bible to be true, they say. But they don't accept certain books in the Bible because they say they're radically wrong. And several of the books that they don't accept in the Bible is the Gospel according to John, 1st, 2nd, 3rd John, and the book of Revelation, and the book of Colossians. And what do those books teach? What's the message? God is in Christ. He is Christ. God is Christ. He is in human flesh. And they say, see there, we don't believe that. So we don't believe those books. We're not going to believe that. All right. Let's go on now. So we've looked at this. And here in Genesis, the 3rd chapter and verse 6, we have all of the sins of humanity in all of these books that we have studied so far. There they are. Just jumping out at us. Gluttony, greed, pride, all of it. What's wrong with rich people? Jesus said it's easier for a camel to go through an eye of a sewing needle than a rich man to get in heaven. What's the problem? Genesis 3 and 6. They took of that tree. They want, and they want to grab. There's a term in Greek, it means to sail around and grab. There used to be a game on a video game. You know, I never did play a video game very much. I don't think. Dakota, have I ever played a video game at all? You ever seen me play a video game? Well, I know they used to do this, but they used to have one called Pac-Man or something. Was it one like that?
When it gobbles up.
It gobbles up everything. That's the word in Greek for greed. Eating, 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 eating. That's it. It's to sail around and grab everything you can grab. That's what it is. You know, when Zacchaeus got saved, what did he say?
I'll pay back 4 times.
I'm going to pay back. Everybody I cheated. How did he was rich. How did he get rich? Dale Carnegie. Have you ever heard of him? He was a very rich man. How did he get rich? By stealing from people and using them and even working little children and all of this, you know. Terrible. When he got old, he got repentance. And he went to a preacher and he said, what in the world can I do to turn back what I have done? How I have so used humanity. And he said, well, there's one thing that you can't take from a person, and that's knowledge. Put it in libraries. So now we have Carnegie libraries. That's how he tried to make reparation for stealing from all these people. He's kind of like Zacchaeus, I guess. 3 and verse 7. 3 and verse 7. Vot tip pa kakna. Boy, that's a long word right there. It's pretty long too in Hebrew, isn't it? Can you say that? Vot tip pak na. All right? Ane. Ane, that's it good. And then she nehem. By yedu. Key. You ought to be getting used to that word key there. All right? And then here's that word I was telling you about a while ago. The serpent was arum. The serpent, haya arum. The serpent became arum. Now look at this. Arumim. Say that. Arumim. Arumim. All right? I preached on this over there at the Southern Baptist Church. And then we have the word him. Va, by, yet, peru. Ale, te, ena. By, ya, asu. Lehem. Cha, go, wrote. All right, that's that verse now. Vatip pakna. All right? And were opened up. They were opened up. All right? Calls to be opened up. What calls to be opened up? Their eyes. The taste of that fruit of that tree. All right? And I want you to see this. This is very important. They became like their father, the snake. And the snake, Nahash, Haya Arum, he became naked, he became crafty, he became wise, he became deceitful, he became foxy, he became corrupt, he became susceptible, he became prideful and high-minded, he became rubbish, defective, corrupted. That's what that word means. And opened up, caused to be opened up the ane, the eyes, she'nehem, all right, she'nehem, the eyes of both of them, by yedu, and they kept on knowing, all right, and they kept on knowing that, or because, that word key there, see that word key, that one right there, that's where we are. We're on the second line on 3 and 7. Right in the middle of it. And they kept on being erumim. That word is that word crafty, naked, deceitful, ill-natured, wise, subtle, defective, corrupted, high-minded, prideful, foxy. That's all in that word right there. They lost the glory. They lost the clothing that they had. They were clothed with the glory of God. When Jesus was up on the mountain up there with, remember who the guys were with him? When he went up there on the Mount of Transfiguration, the one they call the Mount of Transfiguration. Oh, Peter was up there, wasn't he?
Who?
Peter. All right. He was up there. And who else was up there? From Moses and Elijah. Moses spoke of the Messiah. Moses spoke one like us. God will become like one like us, is what he said. Okay? God will become like one like us. And he did. So he was there to testify that Jesus, that God had become flesh. And Elijah, what was Elijah there for? Brother David, you remember? Why was Elijah there on Mount Transfiguration? Why the Jews today, every time they have the Passover dinner, they call for Elijah to come. Because Elijah is going to announce what? The coming of God in flesh, of the Messiah in flesh. So here was Moses, the one that said that, the first, Moses wrote this book we're reading today. All right? He wrote it in the language we're reading it from. And it's beautiful and inspired, isn't it? Isn't this beautiful? A lot more there. Okay? And so there it was, and then we saw Jesus clothed in his glory. Now, if he'd have walked around in human, out among all the rest of the humans, when they saw him coming, boy, how bright he was. This is how that Jesus appeared to Moses in the burning bush, in that glory. All right? And when he stayed up there and he gave him the law, what happened? When Moses went down off the mountain, what happened to Moses? What happened to his prosopon, his face? He glowed and shone from the glory of God. Adam and Eve were clothed in that glory one time. And when they kept on eating from that tree, they got naked. It showed what they were. They became liars. They became thieves. Erumim. Erumim. And that's the way we all are. Isn't it? Is there anybody in here who doesn't have a sin nature? Did you outlive it, brother? I remember an old woman telling me one time at church she had outlived her sin nature. She didn't have any of the bad lusts she had when she was young. She said, I was bad when I was young, but anymore I just don't, the only thing I do is eat a lot. That's all I can do anymore is just eat. So I like lots of chocolate. Lots of spicy foods. That tree must have had chocolate on it. That tree must have had hot peppers and all this kind of stuff and lots of good stuff. Lots of spices in that tree. To entice them. Erumim. Hem. Hem. All right. And naked, vulgar, lewd, deceitful, lying, wise, subtle, defective, corrupted, prideful, high-minded. They, and then it says, Vayeperu. And they sewed. They became seamstresses. Vayeperu. And they became seamstresses. They sewed for themselves ale. All right, leaves. Tanah, all right, of figs, leaves of fig trees. How many of you had a fig tree before? Now they sewed the fig leaves together, and on the inside of the fig leaf, I'm going to tell you something. It is, you don't want to rub a fig leaf all over you, but that's what they clothed themselves in. They had been clothed in the glory of God. They had been clothed in the glory of God, and now they go out and attack the vegetation and take some fig leaves off of this thorny, rough-looking tree and put the scratchy-looking things on them. Why, fig leaves are almost as bad as stinging nettles. It's like clothing yourself with a stinging nettle. But I want to tell you something. That's false religion for you. You know that? False religion's all right in this world. All right in this world. False religion is okay here. But it's not fire insurance. I can guarantee you that much. It's no good on the other side of this boundary. False religion reforms people sometimes. False religion does. If they follow the tenets of the religion, they all try to make you a better person, except maybe Muslim. And even the non-radical, if you can have such a non-radical element as that. Why, even the Catholic Church wants to make people moral. They don't want them divorcing each other. They don't want them running around on each other. All that kind of stuff. They try to reform people, but it won't get you to heaven. God of the cults. The cults. Well, look at Mormonism. They've attacked the person of God. They've changed him to them. Old Snake said it last week in the last week's lesson, you'll become like them. You'll become gods like him. If you take it this street, you're going to become gods like him. All right? They think they're gods. There was a video out one time about the God makers. The God makers. Paul Darner, Ted Armstrong, and all of these cults, they attack the person of Jesus, God in flesh. They attack the doctrine of hell, and they attack, well, most of them don't believe in eternal hell or any eternal punishment. They just go out of existence. You soul sleep forever. All right? These are the things. Go back into 1817 and the 1800s. And by the way, they all came, Seventh-day Adventists, all of these groups, they came from what we call the millennial dawnist. They thought the second coming was right here, and all of this. Every one of them talked about eschatology. All about eschatology. All right. But they attacked the person of God, the doctrine of hell, and the doctrine of eternal life as when you leave this world, when your eyes go to sleep in death, your body, you don't go away. You go someplace instantly. Your spirit goes someplace. Right? You go somewhere. All right, false religion. And the fig leaves, all right, Ba-ya-asu. And they sowed for themselves fig leaves, and they made lahem cha-go-rot, aprons. My wife likes to wear an apron. Any of you girls wear aprons at home? All right, that's a good one. Aprons are good. They put aprons on themselves. Aprons of fig leaves. All right, aprons. They used to have an old Bible called the Britches Bible. You ever heard of that? How many of you heard of the Britches Bible? You ever heard of the Britches Bible? Huh? None of you ever heard of the Britches Bible? There was a Bible one time translated. It said they made for themselves britches. The rest of the Bible was called the Britches Bible.
Where was that? What state was that in?
I don't remember now. This is a long time ago. This is 200 or 300 years ago. The Britches Bible. 400.
Where did they say britches at?
The Britches Bible. Britches. They made britches or aprons for themselves. All right, aprons. It really means to bend around. Cha go ra. It means to bend around. To bend around the waist. So they sewed these leaves together and bent them around, made themselves aprons or skirts out of this, because they had become arumim. Say that. Arumim. They had become naked, deceitful, crafty, lustful, vulgar, lewd. It says the man and the woman saw each other, but they did not look at each other in a vulgar manner. Remember? Last week we said they did not look at each other in a vulgar manner. But now, the lust of the flesh takes over. Let's go to the next verse now. You have any questions on that? There's some good stuff in here. The Old Testament is full of doctrine, I'm telling you. By Yishmu. And how do you say that? Hashem, Hadavar, Hologos, Adonai. That's what the word is, Jehovah, right there. This is Adonai. This is Jehovah. We don't know how to say that word. They called it Hashem, the name, or Hadavar, the word. And John the Apostle coined that phrase in the New Testament for us, and he brought it over into Hebraism. Logos, or Hologos, is a Hebraism that stood for this word right there. And what does this word mean? He who shall become. All right?
Flesh. But it
It
doesn't
doesn't it didn't say flesh. That's understood. He who shall become, because it comes from the word hayah, which means to become. It's a verb. But it means he who shall become. All right? Jehovah, Elohim. Elohim, we all know that Elohim means God, Jehovah God. Mil ha-lek. Bog-God. Bog-God. It's got double G in there, double gamma. Bog-God. Lehuah. Say that. Lehuah. You have to say that from your bottom of your stomach. Lehuah. All right? Hayom. Bayit cha bi. Bayit cha bi. Ha-adam. Be'ishto. Mit Hene. And then we have the word again, the word. All right, the word. Adonai, Hashem, Hadavar, Elohim, B'Tovah. All right, B'Tovah, S. Now let's go back and look at this verse. All right. Are you enjoying it? Are you getting some stuff here? There's dynamite in these verses, I'm telling you.
What's the garden? Something?
God.
Hagan?
Hagan is the garden. Hagan is the garden. Now it says, Vayishmu, and they heard, third person masculine plural, okay, call while consecutive in person, imperfect, all right, they kept on hearing is what it says here. They kept on hearing. They did. And since woman came from man, as the human race is looked upon as a masculine race, okay? That's the term here. I'm not being a male chauvinist here or anything like that. It says, and they masculine, third person masculine plural. That's what this verb is. They're looked upon because this is Adam's race. Where did Eve come from? Adam. All right, God created Adam straight. Adam came straight from God, and then woman came out of Adam. Okay, or woman or Isha. And then it says et. See that little word et there? Et. That's what it looks like. That's et. Et. That's a sign of the direct object. That means there's power going from one source to another. All right? And they heard some power from coal. 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 That means voice. Coal. Say coal. Coal. It's even got a V in there if you want to put all of it there. Coal. Coal. Hard to say it. They heard Jehovah. They heard Jehovah. They heard the Word. John the Apostle calls him the Word, doesn't he? And then he calls the Word of God the Word. And Jesus said, my Word says. All right? Jehovah Elohim. They heard Jehovah Elohim, and then it's the word Milhalek. Walking himself. That's what it says. Walking himself. Walking himself by God. By God. In the garden. Remember when I told you the base here? That? All right. And it's got a dit in the middle of it, which means it's a V instead of a V. Bog God. And look at the word, that gamma there. Not gamma, gamel. Into the Greek side of it. That gamel. It's got a dit in it, doesn't it? And that makes it a double G. So we got bag or bog, God, in the garden. All right? Is this helping you to understand the language just a little bit? I know, Randall, you're probably more advanced than anybody in here, but I'm explaining some of these things to kind of let you understand that. He's taken some.
He's almost ready to do a class.
I think he is.
A couple classes.
I think if I get
Sorry,
sick,
it was a joke. Sorry.
if I get sick, we may have Randall up here. And right after that, it's Mike.
Yeah. I'm as ready as I'm ever going to be right now.
Lurah. Lurah. Say that. Lurah. All right? And where in Genesis 1 and 2 it says, with Ruah Elohim. Ruah means what? Breath. Life. Okay? Breath, life. It means spirit. Okay? It says, and Jehovah Elohim walking himself in the garden, and then it says, spirit. Now, I'm going to let you see, read that in one of your translations. You got a translation there, Con? In verse 8, Genesis 3 and 8.
And they heard the voice of the Lord God walking in the garden in the cool of the day. And Adam and his wife hid themselves from the presence of the Lord God amongst the trees of the garden.
Okay. Now here, I want you to introduce this idea to you. The word ruah means spirit God. It also means wind. It means breath. They could have heard the breath of God. They could have heard the wind coming from his mouth as he spoke. All right? The breath of God. Okay? And then it says, Hayom, all right, the day, at the breath of the day, all right, Vayit Chadeh, and they hid or concealed themselves. All right, they concealed them hid the third person masculine singular. All right, and they, each one of them now, the man and the woman, each one hid themselves. All right, that's what we call middle voice. They hid themselves, they concealed themselves. Ha-Adam, the man. Ha-Adam, the man. Remember that word ha in the front of it there? Ha is what? The Adam. The mankind. There was only two in the race of mankind at this time. There was man and woman. And this is the whole race of man right here now. The whole race of mankind hid from God. And then Be'ishto, and his wife, or his woman, Mephaneh, and that means from the faces. From the faces of God. From the faces of God. From his looks. They hid themselves from the look of God. From the faces of God. Prosopon is face in Greek. Here we have the faces of God. Paneh. Paneh. Say paneh. Paneh means face. In Greek it's prosopon. All right? And it means from the look. When you face somebody, they're looking at you. All right? They hid themselves from the look of God.
I don't suppose mit means from or anything like that.
Yes, it does.
And it's that
Remember
one,
what I said up here?
and it's that
Remember
one.
Min?
That
Means
thing
from. From his face. From his faces.
and the dot underneath is what?
What now?
The dot underneath it in here.
Oh, Mephaneh. Mephaneh. Paneh means face. Met is from. Remember I told you this ma'am up here? That's ma'am. Okay. Mephaneh. Mephaneh. From the faces. That's plural. Of the Word or Jehovah God. All right. He was walking with them. Jesus was walking them in his pre-incarnate self. Betovak. In the middle. Betovak. In the middle of the trees. Yes. Haggah. Yes. Yes. Etz. Haggah. In the middle. Ba-Tavek. Etz. Haggah. Can you say that? Ba-Tavek. Etz. Haggah. In the middle of the garden. All right. in the middle of the garden. You guys ready to quit yet?
Yeah.
You ready? Are you worn out? Lay down for the evening? Okay. We'll quit there and we'll start 3 and 9 next week.
What number, Dad?
3 and verse 9. This is 2010. We're in a new decade, people. The Lord has had mercy on us and He has destroyed this world, and we're in 2010. I don't know how much longer it's going to last. All right? 2010. Boy, it don't even seem right, does it? I was born in the first half of the last century. And here I am over here in the next decade of this one. My grandmother, my great-grandmother, was born in March 2nd, 1883. She died in 1965. That's Sam Paul's daughter. She saw a lot of things in her time. She saw a lot of brutality. But Connie, you read that book, Shadow of an Indian Star. I'm going to tell you something. There were some brutal people in there.
Oh, definitely.
Oh, brutal. Her brothers were Willie and Buck Paul. Her father was Sam Paul, killed 17 men.
Yeah.
And most of the time when they killed somebody, they were drinking. They were imbibed from the trees of knowledge of good and evil, which made them drunk back in the garden. Drunk with power and with pleasure. Evil, she said. She said, alcohol killed more people in my family. Just look at it. Her brother, her half-brother, killed her father. Her father had killed 17 men. Of course, he was a marshal. He could shoot them as a marshal. He was rough. But you know, the martial law says, and this is what the martial law said in Indian Territory, if you come upon a horse thief, a murderer, or an outlaw, you arrest him or kill him. That was the law. You arrest him or shoot him. It is your responsibility as a marshal to arrest him, and if he resists, shoot him. Okay? Then her brothers, you know, Joel killed my great-grandfather, and then his cousin killed him, and he was raised as his brother. That's Jennison killed him. And then my brother, or my Uncle Willie and Buck, they went and shot Jennison, put him on a railroad track, and let the railroad train chop him up in pieces. See, this is bloodthirsty stuff, man. Hard. Can you imagine that? And then her brother shot his son when he was drunk. He came home, and his son was out, had a dog tied out to the front porch, and he got mad at him, and the boy came out, he said, Dad, don't shoot my dog, and he shot the boy. And killed his boy. Grams had seen so much murder in her life. She saw all this murder in her life. And where did it come from? Genesis 3 and verse 6. We're inoculated with a sin nature, aren't we? Inoculated. We're infected with it. Infected with it. But there is a remedy. My cousin, now some of you see him saying that, some of you were here when they sang in the class that night. Bill's real bashful, my cousin Bill. And he got up here and sang. He used to play in the bars. And he's bashful. He used to have to get drunk to play. And then he let it all hang out, just go on. He's a good singer and a guitar player and everything else. But now he does it sober. Because the Lord saved him about 4 years ago. Saved him. And changed his life. God has the power of salvation. The Spirit God that was going out from God, that Ruach Spirit God in Genesis 1 and 2 that went out over the faces of the deep trying to reform and straighten out the world, that Spirit of God is still working on you today to save you and bring you back to Himself. And He already paid the price. God paid the price Himself. All you have to do is say, Lord, I'm forgiven. I'm lost. I'm a sinner. I know You saved me. I believe Your Son. I believe that He gave His life for me. I believe He became flesh to save me. And now we got the antidote. How many of you had the swine flu shot? Know what? I got it the other day to do nothing to me at all, but it's supposed to inoculate me from the swine flu maybe. Jesus has inoculated us from hell. We can be sure of that. All right. Go out and do something eternal this week with yourselves. All right. Go out and do something eternal. Brother David, Brother Rex.
Do the Hebrews have an alphabet?
Yes. Aleph, Bet, Gamel, Dalet. Yes.
And they put them together and make words?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Now that's what we've been reciting at the beginning of the class. See, that's all of this, you know. And there's the Greek alphabet and the English alphabet. How many of you know the English alphabet? A, B, C, D, E, F, G. It's alpha, beta, gamma, delta, epsilon, zeta, eta, theta, iota, kappa, alpha, mu, psi, alpha, gamma, pi, rho, sigma, tau, epsilon, phi, psi, omega. That's the Greek alphabet. All right. And then we've been saying the Hebrew alphabet, Aleph, Bet, Gamel, Dalet, is the heterogram all the way through. They've got, all of them got the alphabet. They've all got their grammars and everything else, how the words are made up, and that's what we're studying. But we see so much. How about that word, arum? Did you learn something from that? Arum. So we're going to see that word repeated over and over again. That's when you become naked. That's when you become deceitful. That's when you become a liar. That's when you become naked before God. All right. You ready to go? Any other questions? No? All right. Brother David, would you dismiss us in prayer, please, brother?
Our Heavenly Father, thank you for this evening, for the lessons we've learned, and for Jen for bringing us the Hebrew words.